Hades and Devilmen, boys and ghouls, welcome to Marvel Plus, the podcast devoted to all things spooky. Actually, it's devoted to all things MCU, but today might be a spooky episode. It is Halloween after all. Pretty excited for this one. I've got to say, listen, I actually forgot that they were dropping the final 2 episodes of Agatha all along at the same time. Like, I knew this in the beginning. I remember I announced it in the Facebook group when they first announced it. It was a big deal. The first 2 episodes dropped together and the final 2 episodes dropped together. And I don't know. I completely forgot. I'm expecting just 1 episode today. I'm expecting that we get the finale next week. And I get a notification. I got several notifications actually of like videos from people I follow and stuff like that, and articles popping up of like people breaking down the finale of Agatha all along. So I was like, what the hell is going on? So I just can't figure it out. I'm like, did I miss an episode? Did I forget to record last week? Like, I started going into panic mode. Then I realized, oh yeah, that's right. And of course they did this. Of course they released the final 2 episodes together so that they could be released on Halloween. How perfect. I'm really glad that they did it this way. In fact, I think when I first knew that they were doing this, I didn't even put it together that the final episodes dropped on Halloween. But it makes sense. It makes sense. You don't do a spooky show about witches and then have it end the week after Halloween, after everyone's done feeling spooky and dressing up and you know, delving into the paranormal and the macabre and all the crazy. Like, that would be really lame. I feel like there would be a big drop off. Maybe not because it's a finale, but either way, this was really smart. I'm super glad they did it, and I'm gonna handle this in the same way that I've handled past double drop episodes. Same way I did episode 1 and 2. I'm going to cover it separately. You know, a lot of people will just cover both episodes together because they drop together, but I like to cover them separately, even if it means less views for, you know, the penultimate episode. It's important to me that there is it's important to me that each episode gets its own review, okay? And so that people maybe that are watching this next year or 5 years from now or what have you, they can come and watch my show or listen to my show episode by episode, just like they did with all the other episodes, and not have to wait until they've watched the final 2. They can, you know, anyway, I like the idea of having it episode by episode. Also, you know, different episodes are directed by different people. Enough happens in each episode that you don't want to smash it all together into 2 episodes in a review and I don't know. You don't want to. I feel like you're going to leave some stuff out, some important stuff from each episode, and I just like giving each episode its due. So anyway, more than anything, it's probably just the OCD in me that wants like this uniform. That's the word I was looking for earlier. Uniform. I want there to be some uniformity to my podcast, right? I don't want to be some episodes just 2 episodes, some episodes just 3 episodes when they drop 3 at once. Like, I don't want to do that. I want every episode to have its proper review. So that's what I'll be doing. This is going to be episode 8. I haven't even watched episode 9. I like to do it right. I like to do it when I'm still like speculating about what might happen in the next episode, because like I said, other people might encounter it this way, 1 episode at a time. They don't realize, you know, weeks from now when they watch it, they go through and watch this series, they don't realize that the episodes drop together. They just see each episode. So yeah, You get it. I'm beating a dead horse here. But I will be covering this episode. I've only watched episode 8, have not watched episode 9 yet. So it will be a true reaction / review that you're getting from me. Yeah. One thing I want to do in this episode, since it is Halloween, I want to get some feedback from you guys. Like whether it's in the Marvel Plus Facebook group, or you just want to reach out on social media at RealBrettScott, or if you want to email the show, marvelpluspodcast@gmail.com. I want to know, what are you guys doing for Halloween? Like, what is your Halloween yearly tradition? Or maybe you don't even care about Halloween. Maybe you're not doing anything. Maybe your religious beliefs prohibit you from celebrating Halloween, or at least discourage you from celebrating Halloween. I know there are a few of those. But hey, if you're watching on the Patreon, you'll see this crazy spectrum of light shining through the window. It's a pretty cool effect. Anyway, I am recording this on the road, so apologies if you hear some background noise, but this is the way I have to do it sometimes, especially if I want to review 2 episodes in one day. I've got to make it happen. So either way, just staying on Halloween theme, I want to know what you guys do for Halloween. Like, do you carve pumpkins? Do you have kids? Do they go trick-or-treating? Do you go to Halloween parties? Maybe you're a little younger. Maybe you go out and go to Halloween parties and drink and lollygag. And God, I just aged myself. Like, I might as well have said dilly-dally. You go out and dilly-dally and lollygag. You guys out there getting into some malarkey? Old man vibes here on Marvel Plus. Anyway, I wanted to encourage you guys to go check out my buddy Ryan Fraseri's podcast. He was actually supposed to be a guest here on Marvel Plus a couple weeks ago, and we weren't able to make it happen. My fault completely. But he just did a great Halloween-themed episode. It really doesn't have, well, at least most of the episode doesn't have a lot to do with comics, but it is a Wolverine comics podcast for the most part. But he also covers X-Men the Animated Series, X-Men 97, and just other stuff he feels like talking about. Dark Avengers he's been covering lately with his dad, which is really awesome. But anyway, he did a Halloween-centric episode with my other buddy, Kurt Schmidt, and they're just talking all things Halloween, at least for the first half of the episode that I've listened to so far. It's fantastic. They're talking about Halloween candies. Kurt's naming all the disgusting Halloween candy that he enjoys and everyone else hates. Ryan is laughing at him for doing so. Yeah. So anyway, it's a lot of fun. They talk about, dressing up for Halloween and it's a good time. You should go check it out. The episode is called Hallow Wolverine, and his podcast is called Talkin' Snicked. So go search Talkin' Snicked. Listen, if you're watching this show or you're listening to my show, you probably already listened to Ryan's show, or at least have heard of it with the many times that I've had him on, or many times that I've been on his podcast. But if you haven't caught this latest episode, go check it out. It's a lot of Halloween fun. They talk Halloween movies, all that sort of thing. Something that Jesse Cole and I usually do once a year on our Long Lost Brothers podcast, and it hasn't happened this year. I'm not sure it's going to happen, unfortunately. But you can be rest assured, it's been a weird year. A lot of stuff going on in both of our lives. I'm 100% positive that next year there will be a Halloween Spooktacular 5. That's right, 5. We have done 4 Spooktaculars already. But anyway, so go check that out if you're interested. Our past Halloween episodes on Long Lost Brothers podcast. And then go check out Ryan Fraseri's Talkin' Snicked podcast. It's called Talkin' Snicked, The Wolverine Show. And his latest episode, Hallow Wolverine. All right, now that I've gotten that out of the way, let's jump into this wacky, crazy, wild-ass episode of Agatha All Along. First of all, I'm happy. We finished the road, baby. We finished the road. Unless for some reason they return to the road in the next episode, which I don't think they will. We have finished the Witch's Road. Thank God, we have finished the Witch's Road. I was ready to get off the Witch's Road 3 weeks ago. You know that if you listen to this show. But a pretty damn cool episode, especially with that wild twist ending, which I think I can decipher. I think I know what it means. But that's the beauty of doing these one at a time and only watching them one at a time, is you'll get to hear me make myself sound really stupid when I totally get it wrong, and in the next episode they explain it fully and I'm way off. But the beginning of this episode, because we found out that Rio is death in the last episode, we start out with seeing what that looks like. And I found this kind of weird that they went with, oh man, I can't remember her name now. The Protection Witch. I didn't even know she died. I guess her not coming back up out of the goo meant that she, I don't know. That was really weird because, oh wait, no, she did die, didn't she? Right beforehand. Yes, that's right. I'm silly. All right, see, already making myself look dumb. She died not in the last episode, but the episode before that. In the last episode, Lilia sacrificed herself. So, but I thought it strange that this episode, instead of going to Lilia's death and showing what that looks like after she passes over and meets Rio death, they went with the Protection Witch, which I thought was really kind of strange. I could think of her mom's name, Lorna Wu. That's her mom's name, but I can't remember her first name. Anyway, we have her encountering, not Agatha. We have her encountering Rio. Rio's saying your time's up, and she's saying no, I just broke the curse. I can finally live free. And she's like, no, sorry. I mean, you're a Protection Witch. I mean, you served your purpose. You protected someone. That is how you went out. So you absolutely did what you were meant to do. And you're dead now. That's it. You're done. So Rio takes her. And then we see that Jen and Teen, or Billy, are on to the next trial. Well, not really. They're back on the Witch's Road. But Agatha is missing. And we get this quick little interaction between Agatha and Rio, or Agatha and Death. And we find out a kind of a crazy revelation, which this confuses me. All this confuses me with the end of the episode. But we get a conversation between them that leads us to believe now that Agatha did not actually sacrifice her son. That's not how it went down. Her son did die, but it wasn't because she sacrificed him. And she lets people believe that for some reason. Does it make her seem more evil? Does it make her seem more scary to people? Is that why she lets them believe it? What is that? What is that about? But she is torn up about what happened, but we don't actually know what happened at this point. So Agatha makes a deal with Rio because Rio says that Billy has to go. Billy has to die. But also she wants to take Agatha. But Agatha makes this deal because Rio says that Billy is an abomination. He never should have existed, and he definitely shouldn't exist in another body, and he damn sure shouldn't be allowed to go and do the same with his brother. Because it is possible for him to, his brother currently does not have a body. He's out there in spirit form, but it is possible for him to use his power to give Tommy more life, right? Guide him to another body. And so she says, this can't be allowed. He shouldn't even exist. So I want Billy. And Agatha says, look, here's the deal. I will bring you Billy at the end of the Witch's Road. I will hand him over to you. he will hand himself over to you. He will sacrifice himself to you. But I'll bring him to you. And if I do that, I want you to leave me alone forever. Stop tormenting me. You're making my life hell. And even when I die, years and years from now, I don't want to see your stupid face. And so we're really getting the hate. Like, where's this hate coming from, right? What really happened with her son? Now that we know that she didn't really sacrifice her son, what really happened, and how was death involved in that? And like, is her hatred for death just because death took her son? Like, is that it? Was it completely the order of things and justified, but Agatha's just pissed off because or maybe she offered her something, maybe, but she wouldn't take it. She said, no, I'm taking your son anyway. Maybe it was vindictive, you know? Maybe it was the fact that Agatha left her, didn't want to be with her or something. I don't know. We're going to find that out later for sure. But Agatha, as she always does, reveals the bitch in her. Like, she's just out for herself, right? She wants her power back. She doesn't care what happens in the process to whoever is around her. She agrees she's going to sacrifice Billy to get her powers back. And Rio agrees. Although it does seem like she's saddened by the fact that Agatha never wants to see her again. She really still loves Agatha, but she relents and says, yeah, if you bring me him, I'll leave you alone. Because he has to be stopped. This has to be taken care of. We get back to the Witch's Road. Agatha joins Jen and Billy, and you know, they're trying to figure out what to do next, how to get to the next trial. And they end up finding it, but it's kind of a weird roundabout way. They end up happening upon the beginning of the Witch's Road, where they began this whole journey. They go back and they find their shoes where they took their shoes off to go down the Witch's Road. And Billy's like, you know what? Fuck the road, man. I'm putting my shoes back on. It's just going to lead us in circles. It's not going to let us out of here. I'm going to do what I want. He puts his shoes on and boom, they're in the next trial. They're in the next trial. They wake up in this like sterile morgue-like room with these grow lights, like, you know, for like growing, like horticulture, right? They like hydroponics, right? So they wake up in this place and they surmise that they are supposed to grow something. But the trick is they're in a sterile room. They have the grow lights, so they have the sunlight, right? But they don't have water, they don't have seeds, they don't have dirt, they don't have anything that they need. And while they're all like hashing this all out, it comes up somehow that Agatha was the one that put the binding on Jen, and that's the reason she has not had her powers for the last 100 years, and has full power to take them back. She can take her powers back, but she didn't know it this whole time. So she's obviously and rightfully pissed. She decides, I'm going to take my powers back. I get off this damn road. She does that. She does this unbinding spell chant on Agatha and gets her powers back, and boop, she's off the road. She's back to her normal life, I would assume. It doesn't show. So now it's just Billy and Agatha there. And Billy, he just keeps going back and forth, believing like maybe there's some good in Agatha, and then realizing by her actions that there isn't. She's just a selfish bitch. But he wants to see something good in her. Like, he sees her as this maybe motherly figure. He sees her as, he really looks up to her, and he wants there to be some good in her. Wants to be able to trust her. So she then says, and I thought she was taking a turn here, because I know she promised Billy to death, but I figure like maybe she's doing some roundabout thing where she's actually going to save Billy and screw death over on this deal. She helps Billy find a body for his bodiless soul brother Tommy. They work together. He puts himself he kind of inhabits somehow the spirit of Tommy and guides him to the body of and this is kind of dark, because we have to go around and find a body for this kid, meaning someone that's dying. We have to go find a dying child, right? Which I don't know why it has to be a child, but I don't know. I guess it would be more jarring if he just woke up in like a 40-year-old's body. So, and this is all like with mind power. This is all in their mind. It's not, they didn't go anywhere. They're still in this morgue, and this grow morgue. And they find this kid and he's drowning. He's being drowned by bullies, and like Billy's questioning whether or not he should do this. Like, am I taking this kid's life? Is the only reason this kid's dying is because I'm going to, is it because of me that this kid's dying? Also, he can see that this kid comes from a terrible family where he's like neglected and possibly abused, and he doesn't want to subject his brother to that. And all in all, Agatha ends up like just kind of almost forcing his hand and making it happen. They give Tommy a body, although we don't see any of that. We don't get to see what happens after Tommy inhabits the body. We don't get to see that. Like, hopefully we'll get to see that next episode. But now his journey's complete. He got what he wanted on the Witch's Road, so boop, just like Jen, he disappears from the Witch's Road, seemingly going back to Earth. And now Agatha is left there, and Rio, aka Death, is kind of pissed. You didn't bring me Billy. Yes, you made it to the end of the Witch's Road. You succeeded. And Agatha's like, where's my powers? I was supposed to get my powers back. I completed your damn trials. Here I am. Give me my powers. She's like, well, you didn't bring me the kid. And so then she starts to kill Agatha. She slices her up with these, she breaks this glass and calls it death by 1,000 cuts. Cuts her face all up. She looks like the little girl from The Exorcist. Really cool stuff. Really cool imagery. And then, what do you know? Billy shows back up, fully powered, ready to kick some ass. Comes back to save Agatha. This was Agatha's plan. This was Agatha's plan. So, Billy then, he knows that he can give Agatha some of his power. And as long as she doesn't take it all, he'll still live and she'll have her power back. So he does that. He she siphons off some of his power. She gets her powers back. And now it's Billy and Agatha versus Death. But they quickly realize that's not a winning battle. There's no way to defeat Death, literally. So they realize that one of them is going to have to sacrifice themselves for the other one to get out alive. Agatha says, it should be me. It should be me. You should live. Go on and live your life, and I will sacrifice myself. Always the manipulator, Agatha, because she knows that Billy is too good-hearted. And as she goes to sacrifice herself, Billy says, no, I will go with you, Death. I will go with you. Let Agatha live. And then Agatha kind of announces, like, ha, I told you I'd bring him to you. This is exactly as we discussed. I fulfilled my end of the bargain. And then Billy's just, he's just gutted, right? Because it's like, man, I've been so manipulated by someone that I thought that really had this heart deep down, and really, she does not. Death ends up then so then Agatha, or Billy gets into Agatha's mind and says, look, why are you doing this? I know you can hear me. Is this what you did to your son? And he really pulls on the heartstrings. And then Agatha really does sacrifice herself. It was kind of a crazy, back and forth switchback trail. It was like, I'll sacrifice myself. No, I will. Yes, that's what I planned. Wait a minute. No, I will. So then it seems like maybe Agatha does have a heart deep down. As long as you pull on the right heartstrings, make her feel bad enough. And he reminded her of what happened with her son. And so then she sacrifices herself to Death, and Billy goes back to the real world. And we see Agatha, we see her die. We see her like kind of like quickly decompose, become mushrooms on the ground, and then flowers, and she's just a little patch of mushrooms and flowers. And Billy gets sent back to his life as William. And we see him, he arrives back in Westview, hops in a car. He's solemn, right? He's sullen. He's just devastated by everything that's happened, and the fact that Agatha's gone, and that she sacrificed herself for him to live, and he feels terrible, and all the witches that died, and still he doesn't know, he still has to find his brother if he's out there somewhere, and he's distraught. He goes back home, and his parents are like, where have you been? You've been gone for over 24 hours. We were worried sick. And he's like, I'm fine. They're like, dude, your face is all cut up. You're all beat up and dirty. He's like, I'm fine. He like takes a shower to decompress, goes into his bedroom, and just is kind of like sitting there depressed. And he starts to look around. He starts to notice some things, some familiar things. Like around his room, there's a little Wicked Witch of the West figure, and there's a painting on the wall with a house that looks like one of the houses from the trials on the Witch's Road, and it's just more and more and more things, and then all these things from the road start to come back to him, like events that happen, and all of it is represented right there in his room. And I think what they're trying to say here, like I said, I could be wrong. I could be wrong about this, but this is how I'm reading this. They're saying that none of it was real. None of it was real. It was all manipulation. Agatha was using things that he was familiar with to create an illusion, a very elaborate illusion, to get him to give her some of his power so she could get her power back. And it was all just a ruse, and it was Agatha all along. Now that's a cool twist if it is what I think it is. Like, if it is as I described, and I could be proven wrong in the next episode, that's a pretty damn cool twist. Although some of it doesn't quite hold water. Unless the stuff between Agatha and Death really happened. That very well could be the stuff between Agatha and Death really happened, except for the last part. Because if it was all an illusion based around him, then we wouldn't have any scenes that didn't feature Billy. We wouldn't get those scenes with just Agatha and Death, or just Rio and Jen, or like we had throughout the episode, or throughout the series. So I don't know how they're going to square that. I don't know what's really happening here, but what I'm getting from this is that Agatha created an illusion to get her powers back. It was all just a ruse. She knew Billy had power. She had to find a way to awaken that power, make him realize his power, and then take it from him, or at least take some of it from him. And that's exactly what she did. And at the end of the episode, someone's creeping up behind him. He turns around, looks scared, and we hear boo. And it sounded like Agatha. I'm assuming it's Agatha saying like, "Ha, I didn't really die. Gotcha, bitch." Pulling the blindfold off and saying, look, I manipulated you, all that was fake, and I got what I wanted in the end. Why she would even need to do that is beyond me, other than the fact that she's just, wants to gloat about how badass of a witch she is, how powerful she is. But, yeah, pretty wild episode, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it very much. I think the twist really did it for me, but there were some other cool aspects as well. Where Agatha is fighting Death, and she's getting the glass cutting her face all over, and that was all really cool imagery. But that twist at the end, man, that made the episode for me. That made it a great episode. No idea what's left. I feel like they could have ended it with that, with the realization that Agatha pulled the wool over his eyes and it was manipulating him the whole time, all to get her power. And that could be the end. For me, that could be the end, and I'd be satisfied, even not knowing exactly how it worked, how the scenes that didn't contain the scenes that didn't feature Billy, why would they even exist? Even without that being squared, I could let that go just for this being an awesome twist ending. But there's still a whole nother episode to watch. So I'm not going to waste a whole lot of time here. Like I said, the episodes drop together, so I haven't watched this next episode yet, and I really want to get to it. So I'm going to keep this short. Just go follow me on social media. If you want to talk about this more, let me know. Also, what you're doing for Halloween. As I said in the beginning, I don't know. I just want to talk about it. I want to see what you guys are up to for Halloween. Like, what kind of stuff do you get into? For me, it's just, taking the kids trick-or-treat, carving pumpkins, stuff like that. Yeah, pretty traditional stuff, watching some scary movies. But yeah, what do you guys get up to? Let me know. Reach out on social media, at Real Brett Scott, just about everywhere. Check out the Marvel Plus Patreon if you want some bonus episodes and video versions of the podcast. What else? Don't forget to rate and review the show over on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or anywhere you can rate the podcast. Please do so. It really does help the show grow and reach a larger audience, and that is what we want to do. We want to reach more ears. So if you can do that, I would greatly appreciate it. Share it with your geeky friends. Let them know that there is a podcast devoted to all things MCU, and it's the best one in existence, and it's called Marvel Plus. Yeah, with that being said, really enjoyed the episode. Really looking forward to see how they spin this thing, how they end it all. Yeah, just pumped. I'm going to go watch it now. Thank you guys, as always. My name is Brett Scott, and this has been Marvel Plus.